on the discussion segment this lovely Tuesday morning, the 25th day of February 2025. My name is Ajuluchuku Okabwe.
And my name is Obinna.
And this morning we shall be talking about decentralization of power, our prospects for true federalism. And we all know what true federalism is all about, talking about decentralization of powers so that every region in the nomenclature called Nigeria will definitely have something to bring to the center. And in the studio, we have Kanayo Ubidibu, a public affairs analyst that will be talking or giving us insight to the discussion that we have this morning. Good morning, Kanayo.
Thank you for having me.
And also, we have with us our guest, our co-anchor, Ijoma Uche, the amiable, ever-smiling Ijoma.
Okay, good morning and welcome to the discussion segment. I thought you wanted to, now lock me with Ghana, your guest. So we are your guest now. Let's hit. No problems.
Sorry for that. But then let's talk about
okay.
decentralization. It's that time we begin to look into what we are really talking about when we have to do with this issue. Decentralization is indeed a crucial step towards achieving what we call true federalism by distributing what we call powers now from the top down to other authorities for proper decision making, and then away from central authority and towards local government and regional entities. Decentralization, as we all know, can help in promoting regional autonomy and self-governance, increase citizen participation and representation, foster economic development and regional specialization, and enhance accountability and transparency. But now, coming to you, Kanayo, what is actually wrong in Nigeria adopting this true template for industrialization, having something to even bring to the table when you're talking about global networking with other great nations of the world?
I wouldn't say that Nigerians have tried all models and have not been able to, put up an enduring system of governance, organizations and the rest of them. The problem in this country is that we tinker with a lot of models and it doesn't work. So, like you rightly ask, why is it impossible? We have actually, come of age at 60-something years of age that when we put a system into this governance and it will work. Decentralization, trying to make it work, even in all the organizations you have in this country, they decentralize it, but they still throw it back to Abuja or then Lagos. And why must it be so? For instance, so we copied the presidential system of governance from the American people. But I've never heard that a guy or a matter in California that is about 6-7 hours to Washington, D.C. is thrown back to D.C. as the capital or where. But in our own case, for instance, police, you see all the zones where they keep all the zones, this zone, that. But still people put petition and take it to the first hearing where they still sit down to adjudicate on it. Does it mean that what you have decentralized, what you have zonalized does not work? For instance, where before now, we all know that before you obtain an international passport, you go to Kakawa in Lagos. But at a time, they felt that to decentralize passport issuance to states became very, very critical as a result of number of people and the cost of going to do that. And then they did that, and today it is working out in 36 states plus Abuja. So you see how effective it is now that if you want, at a time when you want to do 10 years passport, you go to Abuja. But today it's done here at our backyard in Oka. So it works in a way that and be efficient if the government decides. But in most cases, decision making that is centered in one place does not support development. It doesn't.
Now, is it sometimes when you talk about this, in Nigeria's case now, you talk about decentralization in the true sense of it, but in the practical sense of it, nothing is decentralized. Does it mean that the head, as in the center, really wants to still hold on to that power and be relevant? Because when you decentralize, there's some form of relevance they lose with decentralization as it goes with it.
You see, when the French Revolution came and gone, they felt that decentralization of power in 1794 is very important, and which they did. And today, any country that decentralizes power gives, you give it out to some people who will take decision at a given time, and you know that response time to a decision making is very important and very critical. But in our own case, they want to center everything in Abuja. I have taken the police, for instance. Police, okay, look at the CAC. CAC is decentralized. But how effective is that when I want to register a company here in Oka and I'll get my certificate in the next 2-3 weeks or 1 month? It's not working out until you get back to Abuja, where the decision is taken by the head. Until then, no. Look at our licenses. We issue licenses by the Federal Register. But today, I went for a license here, did capturing 6 months ago, and I was told that after that there was a glitch, whatever they call it. And that glitch had made it now impossible for me. But those who actually captured a letter before the bleach or after the bleach are now being issued with license, but I've not received any, which means our data collection center is zero. That happens in our elections when we cannot, do what is right. What is right is that the quantum of money was given to INEC. INEC is now talking about technology of doing this, and we voted, and it does not count. It was not transmitted at the same point. They are waiting. Why must we wait? If you watched all the elections in different countries, as soon as vote is being counted, it is now updating. Why can't we have an updated? For instance, if you go to bank now in Maiduguri, your account is domiciled in Oka. Once you remove money, it reflects. Why does the account reflect? Why did they leave it? You understand what I'm saying? They should have left it until they start to reconcile. But under a nanosecond, it goes. It goes.
Okay. Let's look at the federalism. Okay. Growing up, when I hear true federalism, I've always asked, is there false federalism? Otherwise, what is true federalism, and then how does it differ from other forms of governance?
Well, you see, it is a matter of semantics in this country. We like to use jaw-breaking words, use sensational words, just to make it more robust, make it more, Nigerians like too much grammar, don't go trench. But at the same time, it is a simple thing. What is true federalism? What is federalism? One, you are federating. Which one is the truth about the true federalism? You have to accept that you are federating units, and then it is.
And run by the principles.
It is only in Nigeria that I hear such language. Sometimes they say it will be holistic. Using the certain words that are not applicable to other democracies. I don't understand it. That is why sometimes when I look at Nigeria, I say, where did we copy these things wrong? Because we did copy it. We came back, we modified, we domesticated it, but we are not applying it properly based on what we copied. So to me, it is a no-no that Nigeria. And you see my concern. All these people that are operating these policies are very intelligent people.
Yeah. Okay, but I've always heard, I've always heard that Nigeria that will copy federalism, but we're not practicing true federalism. That when you go to America, places like America, that's where you see true federalism. That's why I asked.
Yes.
How do we do it?
Because we don't want to do it. We are domesticating it so to that level of, I don't know, very being tribalistic. We have to accept.
All right. All right. What do you think? Okay, you just pointed out that it's a tribalistic issue. Now, do you think to actually get this right, do you think it is the system of the government or it's a leadership problem?
Yes, you see, when Paul Kagame came up in Rwanda, he came up and he started to fight ethnicity and, tribalism and religion. And as soon as he was able to get it right, the country started to grow. Today, Kigali is a reference point.
Yeah, of course.
You see? So what am I trying to say is that not until we get to the root of what we have just mentioned here, until then, Nigeria will not get it right.
So what's the root at the moment? So that's what I said. Is it a leadership problem? What is the problem? Because we're having a federal system of government whereby we expect all the, all the tribes, the major tribes, the Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, even the minority tribes to actually have a say. We're expecting a whole lot. And we've, like you said at the onset, we've practiced a lot. We've practiced the military, we practiced the parliamentary, we're practicing the federal system of government, and still we're finding it difficult to actually have a true, let me put it this way, I think we are finding it difficult to have an identity.
Good.
So what should it be? What is the solution? What
is the cause?
Yeah.
The cause is this. We had our republic, we had our independence. Under 6 years of operating that system, the army struck. So we didn't get a proper foundation of either parliamentary until they struck and then disorganized the whole thing. And guess what? Now, 72 hours ago, they came up with all kind of, exposure of why Nigeria has remained like this. That 1966, January 15, it was an Igbo coup, and it was a lie. And today they are debunking it. But I can tell you, that became the root of Nigerian failure in all aspects of our corporate entity. That is the problem. Not until we get it right now, they are coming up trying to say, Gowon said this, Babangida did that. That was the cause. The cause remains that those who were at the helm of affairs at the time were thoroughbred Nigerians. They were all trained. There was merit. But as soon as the army struck, they called them the junta in those days. They took over. They did whatever they pasteurized the country, and then continued to tinker it after several years. So there's no way we would have been able to put an enduring democratic principle in place.
So what should be done?
Yes, not until we go back. Now that we are talking about region, at the time we have about three regions, 4 regions. Today we have 36 plus Abuja. Nigeria is being properly fragmented, whether we like it or not. And everybody is going back to say, this is Bukem. That is the problem. We are not seeing ourselves as one Nigeria that believe in, all of us are one Nigeria, and we believe in one Nigeria, if I may use your word, federalism. So that's the problem. The problem is that we have not accepted ourselves as one people in this country.
No, accepting ourselves as one people is not the responsibility of individuals in the entity called Nigeria. It is the Nigerian state that will infuse that into the citizenry. We've seen countries in Southeast Asia, you understand, that 40, 50 years ago, just at the birth of our independence, we are at par, or if not better than they are. But right now, as we speak now, these countries are miles away, as in country miles away from us. And now, if you check the template on how these things worked for them, it was because they looked inwards. Irrespective of their diversity, citing Singapore as an example, Singapore is multi-diverse, just like Nigeria. You have the Malay, you have the Muslims, you have the Chinese, you have different ethnic nationalities making up that country. But the government decided that this is the way forward, and citizens had nothing than to comply. In the case of Nigeria, the complying is the fact that we adopted this rotational basis of who governs what. And sincerely speaking, it eliminates credibility. How do we nip it at the bud in order to make it work? Because now, what we should be selling in order to get it right is take away the religious sentiment and let us be producing the right people with the right frame of mind, with better antecedents. Regional issue brings about mediocrity, sincerely speaking, and that won't take us anywhere. So what do you think we need to do in order to eliminate this? In Ghana, Rawlings came and did some elimination. Is that what we need in this part of the country in order to, come out of these doldrums?
But if you look at it, we actually need some sanity. We we need to sanitize this country. What I'm not advocating for
revolution.
Revolution. What I'm saying is that if this country will actually develop from the level we are, you and me know that the word corruption, we are too corrupt.
But corruption is abide everywhere.
That is the thing.
It's abide everywhere in this world. There's no part of the world that we don't have corruption.
Okay, what is the magnitude of the corruption in those worlds, in other countries? The corruption in this country is with impunity. There's no consequences.
One of the interviews Okonjo Iweala had,
yes,
Christine Anambra on CNN, I think sometime in 2014,
period
of the presidential election, she stated clearly and strongly when Christine Anambra talked about corruption, she said, "Oh, Nigerians are actually hardworking people. Nigerians are actually, you meet Nigerians that are hardworking and really, really very honest." So you just mentioned that we are very corrupt people. So why do we have that image? Because when we're talking about corruption, we're talking about crime, we're talking about lots of vices. According to statistics, even in Africa, we're not the worst. Globally, we look at what's happening in some parts of East Europe. You see what's also happening in China. That's why, not just in China, but in the Asian part of the world. That's why in a country like China, the government is really very strict on certain crime. So why do we have this image of ourselves being corrupt?
Thank you. You see, most of these countries you have mentioned, apart from African countries, some of the Europe and some other nations, they make provisions for their national. They think about their national. They think about the welfare of the people. Do we have that spirit of welfare to keep, to put things in place like health sector, educational sector, road infrastructure, good sanitation, water, and the rest of it? Do we have that kind of spirit and the policy to make sure that those things are basic? We don't. That is why we still don't have electricity in some other places. We fragmented this country so much that we created local government, and that local government does not work because you can't see the mayors actually carrying out the functions of a city where they are elected, and then when allocations are being given to them, have they employed those funds to improve the lot of the locals? It doesn't happen. But if you go like the city of New York, which is about 5 boroughs, their annual budget, is like the whole of Southeast and South put together, just New York. And you can see the effect of it. You can look at it that you came to for 2nd Street today, there was no bridge. The next day you see that the bridge passes through a skyscraper because they wanted to decongest for 2nd Street. So that is what the city mayor does. But does it happen here? No. Look at our local government system. It doesn't work. And that is where you bring the government to the grassroots. That is where what they call us the common people, where that's the people, Nigerian people, feels the pulse of the government, but it's not working. So sometimes
is it?
Because of our tendencies in grabbing.
Grabbing. Okay. Apart from corruption, which of course is everywhere, but it does appear nothing works here. Remember, we are still looking at decentralization and through federalism.
Yes.
Okay. It's not only Nigeria that practices it. I know Germany has 16 states, America 50, Brazil, Switzerland, a whole lot of places. Australia, they all practice through federalism.
Yes.
Why are their own working and our own is not working? And when you were talking, you mentioned the areas that need to be decentralized so that we'll see peradventure if things will start working well here. Okay? Like I know places in America and Germany, education, like you have mentioned, all those things we are taking care of, centrally. Now, what do we do as we come home? Which areas do you suggest that get one decentralized and we are the true picture of federalism so that we will benefit from this country that we have found ourselves in?
First of all, we have been talking about regional. We are looking at our prospects in the derivation of whatever God has, embedded in our education, like mineral. Not until we believe that there are some areas of whatever they call exclusive or non-exclusive list, they look at it and make sure that appropriation is done properly. If you look at our gentlemen in the National Assembly, why would we think about budget padding? Has it happened anywhere in the world? Have we had it? We are still very self-centered. We are not thinking about Nigeria as a whole, as a state, and looking at as when a representative goes to Abuja, does it still think about the constituency? No, it doesn't. How many times have our representatives called town hall meeting to feel our pulse of what we need and what he is supposed to do? They don't. I have never heard anywhere in the world that legislators are given constituency funds to go and do a thing. You will attract. The government will come and do what?
So Nigeria has modified their own federalism.
They have in the sense that...
So it's Nigeria-made federalism.
Yes, because we've talked about grab by grab. That is the way they are seeing Nigeria. That is the big cake. Once you can cut whatever you like, cut it and take home. Otherwise, why would we be having boreholes everywhere? Not proper water.
Centralized system.
Here, for instance, look at Anambra here. There is a water bed that passes through Anambra that can give the whole worker and environment water. Because there's a clean water bed that passes, that when you dig a borehole, you don't need sumo. You get to the aquifer pressure, water starts to gush out. Here in Ebenebe, or cannot, and we are not having water in the capital city. So, what does it take us? For instance, when you pass Ebenebe, cross the Nam River or Nam Stream, and cross over to the Ezago area, which is now the Ezago local government area, you will see a big tank done by Chimaroke. When he was the governor, what did he do there? He went and saw the same waterbed and was able to, put a borehole, get few tanks, and lay pipe on water, and reticulated it within the village there, and the water is still working. You know, when Namani left office, as we speak now, they have clean water. They have. So we don't have. Behind us here is Ovi Moka. Ovi Moka was at the time being pumped to this aroma near the Bishop Court, where the bridge is being done. And that was giving water to us. And the one is at the Wutan Kiamodia. It was sending water to that area.
How functional is that? Because
as at the time, yes. The population was quite small. But guess what? Every other home that can afford it. Because if you can't, you can't. But then I had to use ordinary 14 naira to tap water from the road, because I live on Zikabeni, into my house. 14 naira. Only. From this water corporation where the bridge is now. You know, they have a big water corporation. That is where my father went and paid. But I got the money, 14 naira in 1978. And water was running in Oka. But today,
the present administration.
But I was there. They're giving me a form. I was there last week. They gave me a form and said fill a form. Once they come and look at it, I will pay some fees, and water will get into my house.
How much are you going to
Yes, they didn't tell me how much, but I said fill the form. So I have the form in the car now. So the governor is actually doing something. I was happy when I went there. I said I could have a pipe-borne water. From
every home will soon be reticulated with water now. Because what he's doing it. Where did I go last weekend? Abba. I saw the one that is controlling that as okay. That's this one in Oka. That's one in Onitsha. And a whole lot of places.
When Mobudu came in as a governor, he did what we call the Great Water Scheme for Anambra State and have it zonalized. That was what we saw then.
Exactly
what but because they didn't stay long, the whole thing. And you know, our problem is continuity.
Yeah, exactly.
Continuity. Yes. Because some other person will cause, I say he wants to do his own legacy project. But these are basic amenities that should be there. We grew up, I told my here, fetching tap water every morning before I jump. Well, we know you go and just this and that, you know.
A typical
so
example,
it's supposed to be constant.
A typical example is behind us here. The government law is the sixth place. No, some of us doesn't know that that place is called the sixth place. The three arms. Yeah, that's called the sixth place. Where the attack as a Millard started it and abandoned it until Decentralization. And look at it now. It's an edifice. It is like White House. When I am at a when I looked at it, I said, "Thank you, Mr. Governor. You have done a great work."
Yes.
By trying, sometimes, some 10 years ago, people were actually trying to speculate into the land and take it over as their own project. But when Governor came in, they saw what is on the ground. What was on the ground? The acquisition. Acquisition is meant for this purpose. When the purpose clause has not changed, why would you like to go and appropriate the land? That was how government started, and then look at it today. So to me, continuity. So he has continued to continue.
Very important. Okay, gentlemen. I think we're going to take a short break here, and when we come back, we'll start concluding. Like we have asked, what do we want to take home? Is the solution? What do we do to make sure that things get back to normal again? We'll take a break here. Please don't go away. Okay, good to have you back. It is still Good Morning, Anambra, and it is our discussion segment where we're looking at decentralization and the true federalism. Okay, we have talked about a whole lot of things, how we can make it work in this country. Of course, before we went on break, we talked about the water, reticulation of water in Anambra State. And Kana, your guest, made mention of what we are talking about here, decentralizing the water system in Nigeria, because we have them located in different regions, different, what do you call it, senatorial zones, local governments, and so to make sure that it gets to the people. Okay, that's exactly what we're looking at now. Like I said, that when we come back, we'll look at the solution. What do we do? Oh, no, okay, solution. We are already in the solution in Anambra State. So what do we do to ensure that everything that we need to lay our hands on get decentralized? You have mentioned the CAC, you mentioned the immigration, and the ones that are working and the ones that are not working. Why the ones that are not working, why are they not working? The ones that are working, what do we do to make sure that it keeps working? Not tomorrow when I want to take a 10-year visa, passport, they ask me to go to Abuja, that it's no longer obtainable here. What do we do to make sure that everything that we need in this country is decentralized?
Decentralized is like giving autonomy to a branch of any government or organization. I give you this autonomy for decision making, and we believe that you will do the best. I think we need some historical education from our days. At this point, you find out that our children are no more taught Nigerian history very well. What happened in the past? If you ask of what actually was the cause of the war that they are coming up, a lot of people were hearing what actually happened in 1966 for the first time. People who are about 25 years of age are hearing it and then trying to comprehend what actually was what was it like. But we need to go back. We need to go to formal historical teachings in our what I mean at the basic level.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, is it the one that we had when we were in school? The Ghana Empire, the
that was what
Songhai Empire.
No, we don't have to. We have an empire now. For whatever that has transpired between our independence and now is enough history for Nigeria to make. So no, that's what I'm saying. America doesn't teach Russia history. They teach American history. So let us teach Nigerian people our history. Yes. So when we know our history, when we start to look at what actually has not, made Nigeria great, we are looking at to make Nigeria great again. Because when Nigeria was great, All these men that were trained in Furabe, like our big uncle, Kenneth yeah, who became the first. Somebody was asking when I posted him last week, which of the primary school did he go with? I said yes. He went to government school. Okay. The elder brother, George Dickens, was a traveling teacher. So he was moving him from one place to the other. And then when he finished, he went to DMGS. So he left DMGS and went to Furabe. Furabe was in Saturday, where most of them went to. Some went to Achimota in Ghana. But Furabe was another place where some leaders were groomed within the sub-region as at the time. So what I'm trying to say is that we need to teach our children the basic historical facts about this country and tell them that there was three regions. After Saturday existed, there was four regions, and then the rest from few states, 12 states, 19 states, this day up to 36 states and the federal capital now. So before now, Lagos was the capital of Nigeria, but it was not looked at as a state. We are not giving senators. We were not giving senators to Lagos State as at the time. Why all these things are happening now is because people are now thinking of Nkabukani, or Nigeria now, like the Americans. When the Americans, you see them coming back from tour or coming back from holidays, as soon as they get back and they arrive at home, I love America, I love America. They'll be shouting that they are back to their country. We should be more patriotic. We should be more patriotic so that this country, that we know why it is very painful. Nigeria is the giant of Africa. We are blessed. We have all what it takes. Yes, we are. Yeah, size, by population. We are.
No, the thing is, when we talk about patriotism, it's more like Nigerians struggle with that because you see people who have that, try to grow that sense. For example, I have a family friend who comes back occasionally from the United States of America, at least once or twice a year. And he says, most times when he decides to use, he's privileged to have both passports, Nigerian passport and American passport. He said most times he tries to, be patriotic using the Nigerian passport. But he says most times when he uses it, struggles. He would have to be checked. He would have to be delayed and all that. But when he decides to use the American passport, oh, come on, you don't need to risk, oh, this is it, and you're good. So when you keep experiencing frustrations as in Nigeria, okay, you want to be patriotic, but most times when you want to identify with your country and you're always being frustrated, will that encourage patriotism?
You see, this thing started before us. I became an adult and saw it. As at 1981, Nigerian passport, Nigerian currency is a very strong one. Reason, if you go to UK, I wasn't in UK, but we see where they say there's Thomas Cook here, they will say Naira, accept here. And people were, my friend bought a car in Sweden with Naira, Volvo car. As at the time, he came back, he works with the CCD. We bought a car in Sweden with Naira. So what I'm trying to say is that then we believed in our currency. Today, nobody believes in our currency anymore. One of the presidential candidates who was campaigning said he went to Kellogg School, business school in Chicago. And then the professor was discussing all the other countries' currencies and the economy, and never mentioned Nigeria. And after the class, he went to him. He said, okay, bring out the dollar. He brought out the dollar. Bring out the Naira. He brought out the Naira. Which one of these do you like most? He said, I love the dollar. So you don't have, you don't believe in your own currency. And that is it. So until we start to believe what is in Nigeria, otherwise, in Abuja today, me and you know that houses are being rated
in dollars.
Because what do? We dollarize.
Now, talking about the true federalism that we're talking about here, don't you think that external influence is equally hampering what is mitigating against us actually practicing what we want to actually achieve with this system of governance, in the sense that no foreign presidential candidate comes to Nigeria whenever they want to, but any presidential candidate here flies to America, flies to Britain to seek approval and the rest of it all. So that makes it even seem as if we don't even know what it is that we actually want. What could be responsible to that? Could that be inferiority complex at its highest order?
You know, I want you to understand that undercurrent, there are undercurrent in this country, that most of the elections, most of whatever we are doing here is being funded by either one NGO or one external body. You may not know that. But because we believe that if you are funded, you bring in the hard currency, you can now throw your weight around, you can do churches. But the problem remains that Nigerians does not believe in what we have ourselves.
So you're saying that the elections conducted in Nigeria is not the will of Nigerians?
Because we left colonialism to neo-colonialism now. That is what we are. We are now on neo-colonialism, where our economic
survival well-being
is tied to the foreigners or whatever. And we don't want to believe that. Why would we be putting contracts in dollars here in this country? In Ghana, you don't spend no dollar. You spend your city. Yes, I was in Ghana now for 2 weeks in 2003. As soon as I got there, I never saw a dollar. Because I was lucky because of the electronic system of transfer we do now. I said, please transfer money to these money guys on the street. They will transfer to the account and they will give me the cities. I never saw that for once. While in Ghana for 2 weeks, I didn't go with any dollar because I was told, don't worry, when you come, we give you cities. So while I was there, I was transferred. I didn't carry any money. I didn't want to offend any law of trafficking in currency. So I went with a little cash that when I got to the airport, they were saying, can't you use, this is Easter, because it was Easter. I said, I have Naira, but it's not accepted here. How much is it? I tell you, sir. You see, so what I'm trying to say is that I knew when our money, I used to go to Cotonou, when you have Nigerian currency in Cotonou, you are respected. But today, all those small currencies, including the Saladian currency that was nothing, even the Liberian, I was in Liberia after they come up. I brought in their dollar. I came back here, it was nothing. The man were looking at me as if I was holding. But today, if you come in with any of those currencies today in Lagos, Malam will be rushing at you. But why did we come so low? We have all it takes to beef up our economy, to make our currency strong. But look at it. As at the time I was going to the US in 2023 September, I bought a dollar for 900 Naira. When I now left, 2 months after, I spent only 2 months. 2 months after, the thing went up to 1,500. So you can imagine, the change at the time. And since then, we have not been able to bring the Naira down to 1,000 Naira to $1. It's a shame.
It's been ups and downs.
And our central bank is there bragging that
they brought it down by 15 Naira.
And watch it. Look at the central bank. Look at the controversy in the central bank of one person being offered a contract for 50 million Naira a month, another one for 35 million Naira a month, and nobody's talking about it. You see the corruption I'm talking about?
It's horrible. It's not going to stop except we make up our mind to stop it individually and collectively. We'd like to thank you very much for joining us this morning as we look at this nagging topic, decentralization of power prospects for true federalism. Kanayo Obidibo, a public affairs analyst. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
By the way, yesterday was your birthday. Can we just seize this opportunity to say happy birthday to you?
I hope Ofiaku is there, or is he not there?
Is it Ofiaku you want? Do you even know where I want to take you to? Happy birthday, sir. You're one of us. You need to be celebrated because you're always here with us.
Yeah, it's my week of birthday.
Oh,
so it's
yes.
not finished.
No, I know. So we're going to rock the week with you. Thank you.
My wishes. Well, my wish is that Nigeria should think about how to make this country great. I want to thank the governor. He has made Anambra great.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, my name is Ijoma Uche, and my co-presenters.
My name is Obin, and next is Catch the Boss with Ms. Ifi.
Anambra Juluchukwu Okagwe. Don't go anywhere. The show continues after this.
All right, do stand by.